Hello everyone, welcome to Clinosol Research YouTube channel. So we are going to discuss about interview-based questions, interview preparation questions, which is on clinical research, which is part 3. If you have not watched part 1 and part 2, please go and look at part 1 and part 2 interview-based preparation questions so that it will be easy for understanding of part 3. So these interview-based questions are being designed for fresher and 2 to 3 years of experience for CRC and CRA jobs. So without any delay, let's jump into the topic, which is interview preparation question for clinical research, which is part 3. So now in this video, I'll be discussing about the 5 questions which are given in here. The first question I'll be discussing what is audit trial, what is the importance of audit trial, how audit trial is work under different documentation as good documentation practices and all. I'll be discussing about what is audit trial. And I'll be discussing one of the document, which is essential document, which is clinical study report, which is CSR at the end of the study to be submitted, which has all the kind of data to be submitted to the regulatory bodies as in terms of submitting the CTDs or the common technical documents. So we'll be discussing about the third question, which is what is contract research organization? What is the importance of contract research organization in clinical trials environment or in a life cycle of clinical trials, how the CRO comes and fits into it. We'll be discussing about that point. And next, we'll be discussing about legally acceptable representative. I think we have discussed about informed consent form. Along with informed consent form, we have to discuss about one of the most important thing, which is legally acceptable representative. So who is legally acceptable representative when this person comes into picture and what is the importance of LAR? In the similar way, what is the impartial witness? What is the role played by the impartial witness in your ICF and signing of consent form? So first question, what is audit trial? So most of students gets confused with audit and audit trial. So audit is independent examination of trial related activities, whether the investigator has conducted correctly or not. But audit trial is about the verification or reconstruction of documents for any kind of activity. So now say, for example, an activity is being performed by A, that he has entered a source document or case report form. So B came into picture and he has updated some documents or some wordings or something like that. Then that reconstruction has to be documented accurately, that what is the reason of the change and when it was being performed and who has performed it. So this reconstruction of activities is to be considered as an audit trial. An audit trial plays a major role in documentation practice because documents are very important when you are conducting the clinical trials. Now, in a theoretical way, that how are we going to define audit trial? If someone asks you in interview, what do you know about audit trial? So it's just the documentation that allows reconstruction of course of event. So first, what has been entered, then what has been entered, then what has been entered, who has entered, what changes have been done, all that list of changes. So that reconstruction of course of event is considered as an audit trial. So now audit trial, sometimes it's called as audit logs, also acts as record keeping. That documentation of evidence of certain events or procedures or operations. So their purpose is to reduce the frauds or material errors or unauthorized usage. So this is where the audit trial comes into picture, wherein the importance of audit trial is to know about reconstruction of course of events. So now I'll go for next question, which is at the end of study, we will get clinical study report. The first document for the clinical trials is you take a protocol and then you design a study and then you conduct a study, you collect the data, you analyze the data, and finally you create a report. And that report is your clinical study report. Now, how do you define a clinical study report? A written description of a trial. Which is used for therapeutic purpose or prophylactic or for diagnosis purpose in human beings, wherein it contains your clinical information, statistical information, presentations, and analysis integrated in single report. So all this information integrated in single report. First is clinical information, like how many subjects were being taken, what are the inclusion criteria, what are the exclusion criteria, what are the safeties, efficacy, everything, the clinical information. Second one, statistical description and analysis. And third one, presentations. And last one is analysis of the report. or integrated in one report, then it is called as the clinical study report. And clinical study report is to be submitted by the sponsor when at the end of clinical trials. So now next one is, what is CRO? Generally, we say that the sponsor initiates a clinical trial, finances the clinical trial, manages the clinical trial, and close out the clinical trial. So the sponsor has to do all these activities. But if sponsor does not have that time or resources to conduct it, then sponsor can outsource, or sponsor can give the works, responsibilities of sponsor to one more organization. That particular organization is considered as CRO. And the full form of CRO, we sometimes mistakenly say it's a clinical research organization, but it is, as per ICH-JCP, it is called as contract research organization. It's a contract research organization contracted by sponsor to perform one or more duties and responsibilities of a sponsor or functions of a sponsor is considered as a CRO. So in a simple terms, an organization which is contracted by sponsor, who performs, CRO performs one or more sponsor related functions or duties assigned to sponsor. And this can be transferred to CRO. So the main role of a CRO is to plan, coordinate, execute, and supervise the process involved in the development of clinical trials or any kind of activities like designing, conducting, analyzing, and submitting the trial-related documents is your CRO, which is called as contract research organization. Now, my next question, what is legally acceptable representative? What is the importance of legally acceptable representative? Now, an individual who is authorized under applicable law of consent, wherein he can provide the consent for the participation of a subject into clinical trial when the subject is small child or not capable of understanding the ICF. So when subject is small child or he is not in a position to understand about the consent process and risks and benefits of participation into clinical trial, in that time, a legally acceptable representative under the applicable law to give the consent, a person will come who is also called as a guardian to provide the consent for the participation of a subject into clinical trial. So now, in a simple words, what is legally acceptable representative? An individual or judicial, other authorized individual under applicable law to provide the consent on behalf of prospective subjects for the participation into clinical trial is called as legally acceptable representative. Now, what is impartial witness? A person who is independent of the trial, who cannot be unfairly individual or unfairly influenced for the participation of clinical trial, who comes and reads the ICF for the subject. When subject cannot read and write the ICF, then it is called as impartial witness. So in a simple terms, impartial witness is an independent of trial who cannot unfairly influenced by the participation of clinical trial, who attends the process of informed consent process. When the subject is unable to read or cannot read, who reads the ICF on behalf of subject and other proper information, written information supplied to the subject, then it is called as an impartial witness. Now, coming back to about Clinosol, Clinosol is a private limited firm which provides the trainings on your clinical research, CDM, pharmacovigilance, and medical writing, regulatory affairs. And we also give complementary courses, and we also provides the certifications for CRCs and for CRAs and aggregate reporting and medical data review and imaging. So this is our stats. We have crossed more than 140 placements in the year 2023, and we have submitted 260 blogs, 98 articles, 280 presentations, 72 industry experts, and 19 MOUs were being signed, and 842 competitions were being held, and for 24 workshops are being conducted. For more information to know about Clinosol, you can contact on the below contact numbers which are being given. So this is interview set question number 3. So I'll be coming back tomorrow with one more set, which is interview question set number 4. So please subscribe, like to Clinosol Research channel for more information about interview-based questions in clinical research, CDM, pharmacovigilance, medical writing, and regulatory affairs, and more information about the job prospective opportunities in clinical research. Thank you.